2 songs and then I continued the songs. So I switched the title. So hopefully the connection is better. We have 45 minutes until I have to roll the ads, which is nice that it does carry over. So I'm about to see this stream. It seems to be broadcasting fine. Just glitched a little, but give people some time to come on back. Come on right back. Guess I'll pack this bowl I was talking about. Let those insects down. Do what I gotta do, man. Maybe that Libra? Oh no, it's Leo. Hearing a church song stuck in my head is so weird. It was like I pulled out this incense and I just immediately thought of this church song. You have to remember, I went to Catholic school. And as much as I say Catholics are like Wiccans, the music was Christian as fuck. Okay, all the hymnals were just like Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Oh my God, hallelujah, Jesus, 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 Jesus. So the one that just popped in my mind, I can't even remember what it's called. It's just like, long have I waited for your coming home to me and living deeply our new life. You know, so it's like Leo season's coming up too. And I think that's why, where it's like we said this year was the first year of the new universal decade, and it was going to set the tone and the precedent for the next 11 years, right? Okay, so what could that mean other than the first 6 seasons, right? First 6 months of the calendar year from January to June, which just happened, but also the first 6 months of the zodiac year, which would be Aries to Virgo. Okay, we're still in the thick of it. We're still figuring it out. We're still feeling it out. We're still kind of getting there, getting down, right? Of what's about to fucking happen. Okay. Wow. Okay. Just packing up a bowl before I start reading. We did have like a nice little audience before we got disrupted, but it's okay. No, yeah, I don't know. That church song just stuck the fuck in my head. Man, where'd my VHS sample go? Not even my one lurker? Who is the one lurker then? How are you here so late at night and you just like still 333333333 don't say anything? Like, what the fuck? Okay. Dogs were barking. Ears were burning. Chapters lurking. Party. I held her by the hair. She grabbed me by the ass. Or whatever the fuck Vladimir Putin said. Why the fuck did I say Vladimir Putin? Oh my god. Not only was that like low-key like fucked up, but also maybe like racist. It just like came out. Eugene Hoots. Their names are even similar, dude. Somebody was thinking it. And then I said it. Don't know. Let's go. 444. And we back. And we back. This the intro, not the entree. It's the outro. It's Beyonce. It's a lot, cause he's a fiance. Then he got married. put out that album. Everybody said it was kinda whack, but listened to it once and I kinda liked it, but I never listened, and he was not about it. What? You don't want a problem. Wait, that's two different songs. I don't know. Chance the Rapper. Let's just keep it moving. I'm gonna rip the bong, and then we're gonna read the book. Somebody pick a color or something, or start to finish, or something like that. Okay. Cheers. Blue. Okay. One, two, or three. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3. Okay. I am reading my response to Be Here Now that I'm still working on, and I'm catching you up on the new pages. And the reason I asked you a color and a number was to determine where I would start, because I've read the whole thing, I think, like twice from the beginning, but now there's certain pages that I didn't read twice, but just would pick up from where I left off. You know what I mean? So this was a great way to do it. And this is honestly Blue 3. I am here to show you things that have always been in front of you, but you search. I am the eyes of both worlds. Find. There is a beauty around us that finds easily, and that beauty is tied to something else that you can only understand. You cannot see that. There it is. That light is fucking it up, dude. Looks kind of cool though, right? Ooh, trippy. Yeah. You have got to be nice to your ego. You have got to be nice to your ego. You have got to be nice to your ego. That's what this says over and over again, layers and scratches and scribbles. You have got to be nice to your ego. You have got to be nice to your ego. You have got to be nice to your ego. So, Be Here Now is like basically the psychedelic Bible that was written by Ram Dass, who was a Harvard psychology professor who kind of like took a bunch of mushrooms with some of his friends like Timothy Leary, and they kind of all went batshit insane, including the guy who ended up being a Unabomber, but we won't even get into that or unpack that right now. Okay. He wrote this about his experiences in the 50s and 60s. It was written in like 1968, 69, published in 70, 71. So it's really about his experience with psychedelics and what he learned from people who had similar teachings to what he had realized on psychedelics that didn't take psychedelics, right? And so I'm someone who, similarly like Ram Dass, did discover a lot of these things via psychedelics, but similarly to the holy men he worked with, never needed them, chased them like he did. They're a place of sort of like a drug experience, but at the same time, all of my learnings or teachings and evolutions as a person have come from a place of knowing that all knowledge is obtainable in any sense of your being or any capacity that you're currently in. Like anything can be attained in any state, right? And that is a similar teaching of the holy men. He takes a bunch of fucking acid or something and it doesn't have an effect on him because he's achieved a certain level of enlightenment and who knows what he sees on a regular, right? Crazy way to live. So that's what his book is about, but it's a very masculine take. It's very outdated. It's 1950s. He uses weird wordage and doesn't quote any women in the whole thing. It's like, what is this garbage? It's just a bunch of white men affirming each other and then like colonizing religious parts of India and blowing up their spot in the Himalayas. Not physically blowing it up, but like, well, you blew the spot. Basically like sharing their, like doxing them, kind of. So it was just like, okay, I guess let's just keep going. There's been nothing since then that even kind of like compares to this purpose that it serves, because it does still serve its purpose and it's still a great book. It's just we should be able to question some of the teachings that we came up with. Once again, a bunch of colonizing white men who were Harvard professors. These were like elitists in their last life, which was in the same lifetime that they were spiritual teachers. Okay, so like it's okay to criticize them. It was at a time when sexism and racism was the norm and no women were included in books. They didn't have to be credited. They weren't even a part of the conversations. Even if they were there, they didn't get any credit for the things that they shared. So, of course not. It was all reference for man and mankind. And da, 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 da. And I speak that way, man and mankind. And lately it's been woman and man and feminine and masculine, and not as gender neutral as I usually am. But it feels like the teachings that I'm sharing are for a very coded binary kind of bump masculine feminine dynamic of people who come on here for these teachings, rather than the radical queer people that I've always associated with and been myself don't need this as much. No offense, y'all. We've kind of surpassed a certain, not everyone, but just some of the more basic stuff. So it's problematic. There's really no other comparison. Like, there's no other book that you would call the psychedelic Bible, really. It's never been like replaced, or like, I don't know, everybody just thinks that's the end all be all, and it was just the first of a thing. And so I'm like, here's another. And this is the middle part of my book, because as you see in this one, there's a long ass introduction, which mine is all about PMDD and how that affected me over the years, right? And this was about his Harvard days and how he came to be. And then this is like basically him tripping, and drawing, writing cool stuff. Mine's a little different, and it might end up evolving into something longer, because this is a very short pamphlet version with one pen. But maybe now I will take the opportunity to go through and use more, but who knows, man? I don't know. So, yeah, the book is about consciousness. The book is about the psychedelic journey, and to me, psychedelia is the beautiful mind. Think about that, right? Delia is just anything of beauty in the Greek language that it is derived from. Delia, a god, I believe, goddess of beauty. So anything with Delia in the name is just of beauty, that thing of beauty. Psyche, the psyche. Why was it scary? Okay, because if it was scary, something inside of you is scared and scary and unresolved. Mushrooms are very internalized. Mushrooms very within, whereas like LSD or something's very around, without, connects you to the higher self, connects you to the inner self. Mushrooms connect you to your inner self. Who is your inner self? It's not good, who maybe is neglected. But then, like, he said that LSD will connect you to your outer self. Okay. Yeah, it's because you got a lot to work through, lots to work on, lots of things you didn't address, lots of trauma you didn't realize was there yet. Okay? I think, anyway. I mean, I'm experienced. This book, maybe I should start from the beginning. What do you think? You think you need this right now? Because this book starts with my first mushroom trip when I was 17 years old. And would you guess how old I am now? Okay. So, would you like me to start from the beginning instead of page 3? No one was chatting or saying anything, so I was gonna not waste time reading from the start, because I have before on stream, and the people who have heard it have heard it. But because you just brought that up and said that, I feel like it would be good for you to hear this, so that maybe we can ease some of that anxiety and help you embrace the journey that you can embark on without the use of the tools that instilled this fear in you, but recognizing why those tools instilled the fear. Okay? Cool, yes. The work of a healer kind of never ends. Kind of never fucking ends. Cheers. gotta rip this little bong bong. So, cheers. God bless. Well intent. Good luck. Gratitude. Yeah. Welcome. I'm about to read from the book that I'm writing because our friend Jojo here is having some trouble with anxiety after having done some mushrooms. And of course, I myself, when I had done mushrooms, experienced the adverse effect where much of my anxiety was alleviated. Okay, so this is referencing back to when I was 17. Okay, and cross contenting with things that are happening currently. If you came here for tarot, just hold tight. Probably won't pull any cards out, but we'll get you some insight, okay? I think you should stick around, right? Oh, that's a beautiful thing. Beautiful sound. What could I say for you right now? Ah, it's late though, isn't it? It's kind of like you had things to do and now it's probably 1:30 in the morning or something. Okay, maybe just got back from the bar even, but seems like kind of a weird night to be doing all that. But practice. Clever girl. Yeah. Clever minx. Okay, methinks. Blow. Okay. Be forever always, a companion piece to be here now, aka the feminist take on a really sexist sort of jargon. That's what happens when you don't update your references since 1955. Be forever always, by me, handmade, right? Made an inscription. Thank you for awakening in me, within me. I don't remember what it says, honestly. Something about awakening love within or something like that. Okay. Where else would you begin? What to you is the start of it? Was it before the moment? Maybe, but could it have all happened without it? I remember my first trip, and what stands out the most to me now was one very amazing moment. I was at Rothbury at the age of 17. This was 2009. I was with my boyfriend at the time, and my liver bears a resemblance that only can be considered canny because I knew him first, but focus. Just to cause a scene for your mind's eye, I sat in the forest with a guy named John, and we sat in silence for way too long, and I did nothing but stare at the wood chips and think nothing was wrong except maybe age, and I guess that guy John. We didn't make it too far out of the woods. I always wished them well. I felt comfort of someone next to me, yet it was a new unfamiliarity with the one familiar. Detachment? I had not considered. I was young. The color changing wheel makes it look really cool. Damn, what's the deal? Why my head feel like that? Truly, what still stands out to me, even more particularly, was my knowing. I wouldn't have really understood that at the time. I had some great teachers and references, but it wasn't until I started to read Be Here Now, Ram Dass, 1969, out loud, like 14 years later, that I even recognized such a knowing in my young self. I find I can now see in me what everyone who ever looked at me after that has always seen, and that is this same knowing that men almost twice my age spent years searching for. That I got from my first trip. If you told me I made money talking to God, or that have been some kind of holy man back then, I wouldn't have believed you. But now the proof arrived through the pages of a book birthed long before my own, and he described something that reminded me of what I failed to see. I have always known. A true curse and my greatest blessing. So I sat in those wood chips, totally alone in a sea of thousands, and I watched them take shapes I'd never seen beneath me. I stared in awe, and I wondered at this brilliant display, the people walking by, good weather, distant music. I had been really quite depressed up until that point. I was against the norm of Western medicine, as I was always quite rebellious, but I had not discovered real medicine until that moment because my thoughts were, I have finally arrived. I'm experiencing happiness. This is what it means to be free. I've solved it. I'm here. I did it. I'm happy. Some people, when they take things like that, it like makes them fucked up and so above and disconnected from reality. But to someone like me who was already experiencing at that point PMDD for at least probably 6 or 7 years, that was relief to me, and I hadn't recognized it. It was like mental relief for the first time ever, where it was just nothing. And that was, I learned quickly. Because it wasn't about getting fucked up for me at any point. It was about feeling happy and being normal for once. And getting to walk away from that and being like, wow, okay, it is possible to achieve that. That's great. Because I was so fucking depressed and even suicidal back then, where it was just like, what is this? PMDD. Holy shit. Premenstrual dysphoric disorder. The dysphoria is really real. It'll fuck you up and take you toe to toe, square up, fucking psycho shit, bro. And the ovulation period is like, the craziest woman, right? So wild. But it's like worth it because, wow. Huh. Still me, right? Amazing. And being in a sea of thousands is also how I found this beloved, though less profound, of all the people around me. I found this one to be absolutely the most beautiful, so I avoid any way of talking to them for 16 years until I was truly ready to see, understand, and fully realize such a divine moment for what it is meant to be, and the reward of resisting the fruit of a tree without the flowers indicating that it is ready to be plucked and fully devoured by the buds of such a thirsting tongue. Enjoying the perfectly sweet serenity of goddamn everything you ever dreamed. That is only a bit of what love is to me, but hearts nor people are fruit on a tree. Okay. Sorry, I didn't show you this page, but it's really just all text anyways. Over the years, I had a slew of erratic behavioral episodes and an unhinged work social love life. But even at the very bottomed out, I always got back up because of something I didn't fully understand, but I definitely did know. I have hope. You see, I hadn't stayed on drugs very long. Brief period in the damn Grand. But I knew I didn't need them anymore. I learned happiness was possible, and I made it my mission to figure out how to create and maintain that very state of being, happy but also relieved, without the help of anything at all. And yeah, sometimes I wish I hadn't done that because I really needed the medicine. Little PMDD monster in this corner here, yeah? Okay. Now I understand the treacherous beings. No, I now understand the treacherous swings to be tied to my uterine cycle, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, PMDD. It's more complicated than I care to describe because unless you have it, you'll never understand why we feel, I thought, how we feel. It derives from certain things, like stuff considered traumatizing and ugly, unusual, affected me for 20 years, so it always falls. Life got away. The pain felt like I lost so much life to my dreams still. I slid it to apart, so much cleanup, something I had no control over, but I was scared. The madness consumed. I really needed that medicine. But I stopped. Found something else. I don't want to feel so socially unacceptable, but this was worse. I got sober. It hurt a lot. I needed the medicine. My God. I was pretty sure I found what I was meant to do and who I was supposed to be, but I didn't trust it because I had not yet understood my own knowing. But I knew I wanted love and acceptance too. Tried for validation, tried to get approved, but I had to ask myself WWYD. And in time, I'd realized that question is the same as what would I do, because the why is you. But also me, who freaky bee, as I thought since I was 19, and I knew a lot, but not enough. Right? If I proved anything, it's that I'm tough. But who wants to be tough all the time? Not me. I'm tired. I hate instilling fear in others. For a long time, I had not seen the fear that was binding others to me. That fear was binding others to me. I could joke about being mean or intimidating, but those people still loved me. Didn't they? Oh, okay, I see. I could joke about being mean or intimidating, but those people still loved me, didn't they? But they didn't. Not in a real way, anyway. When I was feared, I got anything I wanted all the time with ease. But I didn't want to be feared. I wanted to be loved. So when I let go of the animosity that kept everybody on their toes, I found I struggled more than ever to recover. I had no idea love would be so fucking isolating, but there I was, being soft and vulnerable, honest and compassionate, trying to be less blunt and brutal. It goes okay. I am not here to teach you things that you don't already know, nor am I here to create an existence not already present. I am here to show you. And this is where we picked up. This is where we had started and then decided, since you had anxiety, we would read the whole thing. I am here to show you things that have always been in front of you, but refuse to see, for I am a channel, a vessel, a universal being. Good. It should. That's what I do, and that's why you're here. Cool. It's better than tarot, I told you. Okay. Search. I am the eyes of both worlds. Find. There is a beauty around us, the kind that can be seen easily, and that beauty is tied to something else that you can only understand. This is like my favorite page because this drawing is my favorite thing. You have got to be nice to your ego. You've got to be nice to your ego. You've got to be nice to your ego, remember? And that's when we stopped and started from the beginning for you. Handwritten just for you, okay? Think of it that way, because why not? because it was handwritten and it was for nobody at all. Yeah, because whoever it was for didn't want it to be for them. And I said, okay, well, I never wrote your name, so it doesn't even matter then, does it? Not really. The story is still a story. The connection was still the connection. The lesson is still the lesson. And the love is still connected. It's still there. It still exists regardless of who feels it, who wants it, who takes it, or who touches it, or knows it, or adores it, or loves it. It's still love, and it's still there, and it still exists. The point of life will forever be debated, but let me say this. The goal is and has always been on every level for every evolution. Our goal should be reflection of what we do when we learn from a teacher or follow a leader. The goal is not to replicate who or what that teacher or leader is, but rather to take those teachings and followings and interpret them in your own way. You turn out your own creation, perspective, a new wisdom. That stuff is really groovy. Not everything you do will pass or ascend the masters. It may not be some kind of revelation to humanity like a missing link. The point is for you and your personal masters, your personal ascension. Life is the story of your mind unfold. Your own evolution is the goal. Sorry. Kind of boring with the light. There we go. Okay. To kill your ego is to insult God's creation. The ego, these are the new pages, by the way. We'll get to the new pages. To kill your ego is to insult God's creation. The ego is the individual. Think of the way psychologists have created and labeled the human mind. Superego, ego, id, right? So then I explain it. It's so crazy looking. What we must gain control over is this one, superego. It is the luxury adapted. It is best to let this one observe at a safe distance. I want, I hate, I claim, I own. The part in which desires conquering and how ego is perceived. When you take the super aspect out of the ego, you are left with your own humanist interpretation of you, your ability to commune. For some reason, our own sense of individualism is seen as some evil thing to kill. Rather, detach from the idea of having to be it. Embrace all change that arises. Become comfortable with your bare bones and then dress them in your warmest clothes. That's ego, of course. There is a cross-section for the ego and the id, as they have to work together for a functional human existence. Without ego, we would be animal. Without id, we would be dead. The superego is superfluous. The ego is consciousness. The id is survivings. Do you want to kill your ego because you hate yourself or because you don't know who you are? You have arrived specifically and divinely. Okay, so if you just got here, you better listen. Kind of hot, yeah? Okay. Kind of hot in here? Okay. It's 80 degrees outside. Hey, bet. You have arrived specifically and divinely in this very vessel that is your body. It is your job to be it, take care of it, nurture it, love it, become its greatest potential. It is your only job. Should you be assigned a purpose or ascribed a role, as we all are but do not all fully realize, then becoming is to serve that purpose. Good and evil are basic a concept as masculine and feminine. Commonly, they lack the same thing, neutrality. The third variety. Universal binary is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This 5-digit code of abundance. But if it is neither here nor there, it is everywhere. We are brought to now. This is to see the self, accept the self, and honor the self. Heal your heart so that you may embrace your ego without harm. This illustration is hopefully makes it make super ego, id. I didn't read this part that says ego. Express your mind, right? And ego and id coexist with body, right? Because we were all delicately crafted to be here together in all the uncertainty of life, as we know it on this planet and any dimensions, the flesh becomes freedom, not a prison, to enact such beauty all the while we are human. We are here to express, and so I express love. I loved you yesterday, I loved you today, I love you now. I love you to the moon and without conditions too. And when you ask me how, I'll say, because you are you, because you are you, because you are you. That is what love really is. Seeing, not seeing, shit, my handwriting's so bad. Seeing not before you and everybody you meet, seeing it. Love, okay. That's what love really is, seeing it before you and everybody you meet. So maybe we ought to smile at people on the street, but then we'd have to get rid of the creeps. And maybe that's not tolerant of us, but that's why we have boundaries and use discernment, which can be the very value of energy quantifiably. And that's where my pen died, basically. Oh no, we have 2 more pages. Haha. Okay. The hourglass, that is also a figure 8. Well, superego, ego, and id. It's a basic concept I learned in my junior year psychology class that I never really forgot. Because I found that interesting as I was experimenting with psychedelic drugs at that time and taking a psychology course. Maybe that was my senior year. It could have been either. Probably was my senior year, though. We'll say my senior year. Okay. It doesn't really matter. 17, 18 years old. I, learning that concept, was thinking that, right, when you say kill your ego, you're like saying kill your consciousness. And the people who kind of like successfully did that would be like, I don't know, Sid Barrett. Wasn't a good look. He's literally like stopped talking. He like no longer was cognizant. He was no longer present, right? He literally lost everything because he successfully killed his ego. That's not really something to attain. You need to control your ego and kill the superfluous part of it, the superego that exists to say, I want more, I need more, I claim this, I want that, without giving back. The selfish part of you, the selfishness that makes you an intolerable human, rather than the self-identifying process that makes you the unique individual that you are, the ego, or the survival mechanism that is within you and attuned to the nature around you that is precarious to your survival, because it is the reminder to eat, to sleep, to fuck, to breathe, all of that. Okay. Mind, body, spirit, perhaps. Which one is which? Spirit is ego. Mind is superego. Right? Maybe not. You don't want to kill your spirit or your mind. Your body is id. Something like that. Okay? But now we go on to the figure 8. We just go straight into time travel after that. Because we all chose our experience as our own before we got here and as we go. We simultaneously work with the existence of everything that is to ever happen, also known as the Akash or the Akashic Record, So those of us who can see it and read it and access it are effectively time travelers on a planet Earth. Pretty amazing, ain't that right? Because the hourglass is a Tesla coil and the sacred and the sands of time are electric. That is why we feel impulses, connectedness, attraction. We remember that in which we have always pulled. Inertia in the root is the only push we need. Happiness is the availability you make for joy. That may take time, yet time, after all, is infinite. Remember this. All of them. And this is where my pen died. All right. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. 5 minutes until I have to roll the ads. And then we'll go into chat mode. Actually, I'll just roll them now. We use them all every day. Again, it's the function of the dynamic. Your consciousness is your ego, so your ego is the presenting self, the one that has to talk to other people, the one that has to show up and get dressed and be awake and kind of run the body, right? And the super ego is the one who's like, I'm kind of a narcissist. I'm very driven. I will step on other people's heads to get what I want. I will lie, cheat, and steal, blah, blah, blah. And the id is the one who's like, I'm fucking hungry. I need to go to the bathroom. I am tired. I need sleep. Okay, so you do have a function of them every day. It's who has the most control each day or each moment, right? Because when you experience rage, you have to let the superego either, become and be in control or sit back and let the ego handle it kindly with words. Kindly with words. Oh, gosh. Could always assume the best. But perhaps that's just me, yeah? So, let me roll the ads and I will be back to chat before I leave, okay? Hi. I'm so glad you took that advice, and don't be mad, but it made me sad that you couldn't do it. But now you did, and look, you got through it. I'm so proud of you, kid. I love you so much. Polaroid did. I don't know. I just made up a song for you. Are you crying? Don't cry. It's okay. Because life's beautiful no matter what. I'm trying to remember that I do get more intense anxiety during the transition between like not being anything and then all of a sudden being ovulating. Makes women totally crazy, and most of the women you know probably are on birth control, so you don't really fully see it. You see it in different ways and see a more consistent kind of instability rather than like the random instability, seemingly random instability, right? Men just experience it like on a daily basis, so it's like from the time they wake up until the time they sleep, it's a different part of their cycle at every waking hour, right? So it's very different. The way it's perceived is very different. Because the man might be agitated in the day and then calm down and be like, it's fine, and then be like, oh, now I'm horny, and now I don't care, and now I'm apathetic, and now I'm depressed, and now I'm horny throughout the day. But women, it's more like, for the next 6 days, I'm horny. For the 6 days after that, I'm depressed. For the 6 days after that, I'm mad. And then for the 3 days after that, 6 days after that, I'm bleeding, etc. So it's just like the way you experience things is always going to be different based on your biological body. And that's why, like, I'm sorry, but y'all need to stop bitching about people deciding they want to change things up, because these things are not suitable for everyone. Like, kind of like straight up, I'm kind of not like here to get into it, but just like get rid of that mentality now if that's how you're thinking, that people shouldn't be able to do what they want or kind of like manipulate it the way they want. You believe in plastic surgery and lip injections and fucking BBLs or what the fuck ever. You want fake hair, fake tits, tattoos, right? Like, then what's the difference if somebody wants to like artificially make themselves like, you know what I mean? Who cares? Who cares? There's always going to be taboos for people, but like, yeah, it's just like fucking, it's just like a person's body. It's gonna decompose and rot eventually. It's just such a silly thing to be so caught up on, you know? So how interesting. Um, Very cool. Very cool. It's very interesting, the things that will enlighten us to be the people that we need to become, right? So I kind of love to watch people grow, and I love to help them realize who they are, because it's just the role that I've always played in people's lives. And when they look in my eyes, just like Ram Dass described, when he looked into someone else's eyes, they look into my eyes and they see the knowing, and so they ask me, and I can tell them, yes, now you know too. They say, oh my God, thank you. Thank you for knowing, and thank you for letting me know. This is all real around me, isn't it? Yes. Oh my God. It's literally so beautiful. Everything is awake and around you all of the time, regardless of where you are in your sobriety, right? I've been stone cold sober and experienced things that are like, holy fuck, bro. You ain't had nothing like no sleep and no meals for weeks. Man, I've done that twice now. Craziest trips of my life, both times. Both times ended up in the hospital. Yeah. First one was no injuries, psych ward hospital, 8 days. Second one was total injuries, somehow avoided psych, but had to do 2 weeks of outpatient daily after. It was in the hospital for 2 weeks before. So a month of hospitalization, because it's like, yo, you can get that dimethyltryptamine fucking going. You can get that shit pumping to the point where you're like dreamlike state. All of a sudden, it's a nightmare, baby. You want it to stop, but you can't now. You're practically dead at this point, but you're fine, you're functioning, you're alive, but like, nah, you're starving, so your brain is going insane. It's releasing DMT like it's dying, because that's what your body is going to do when it dies, just like it does when it's in half-dead sleep. Sorry. Oh my god, don't get scared, don't get scared. Sorry, I was talking about my experience. Shouldn't have. Should have prepared. My bad. It's just all the ugliness it takes to create something like that book, okay? All the understanding I have comes from a place where I've needed to understand myself in ways that no one else could, because I have to cope with being me at the end of the day when everyone else is gone and no one is looking. And that's very hard. You see a monster before you, I see the monster in the mirror. Okay, I have to look in the mirror every day and say, okay, I am doing my best. I kind of fucked up today in this way. I kind of shouldn't have done that, probably. I kind of deserve this because this. Okay. But at the same time, I have to embrace that I'm still this beautiful ray of light and also a worker of darkness. I work you in the darkness. I put you in darkness. I say, hey, here we are. It's dark, huh? Guess what? I got this light, and you can see now, can't you? Right? And I shine this light on you and say, oh my goodness, look at you in this darkness. Is this what you were hiding in there? This is what was behind the darkness? Was this all of you here? Wow. Huh. Glorious light. And all of a sudden you start glowing. Because that kind of thing is just like infectious to a human being. When you see someone glow before you, you can't help but glow too. Because that's like, you know, being kissed by the sun and having the mark on your skin, you know? No. Because that's what love is. So why fear darkness? Why fear any of it? Am I impervious to these teachings? Never. I'm still a human being. Can't forget. Number 1, holy man. Okay. And necromancer. Necromancer is what I really meant. Very romantic. Okay. Kind of cool. Kind of cool. Keep your cool. Keep your cool. Why? Be fucking crazy. Go out of your goddamn mind. You live one time. Tell people what you really think. Who cares how it's conveyed? Who cares how it seems? Who cares about anything? You either forget when you die, or you get rewarded for the things you did in life, or reprimanded for the things that you didn't or shouldn't have, right? Okay. What difference does it make? We're all here. Especially, you know, being abundant in words. I'm a writer. Okay. Is this like a Wes Anderson movie on the internet? Just kidding. I kind of love it though, yeah. Life is your own series of moving pictures, so if you don't like the pictures you're seeing, move them. Paint different pictures. Make sure they're pretty, because you're going to be looking at them for a long time. Make sure you're looking through the lens of life that is allowing you to see things from your highest perspective, which is wanting the best not only for yourself, but for the ones around you and other people too. And just the general good of things, you know? Just putting that in the mix. Just letting it be what it is. Kind of crazy, isn't it? Who cares if you should or shouldn't have? It's all about what you do now. It's all about how understanding you can be of someone who can be understanding of yourself. And how understanding of yourself you are is your capacity to understand others. Okay. Dead Poet Society! Because it's literally poetry and like the dead people thing. Hell yeah. Go George Robin. What the fuck is his name? Goddamn, not George of the Jungle. Robin Williams. Why the fuck? Brendan Fraser's fine. What do you mean? He's like fine, right? Gotta love life. And life will love you. Gotta love life and life will love you. Okay? And sometimes, and listen, this is coming from someone who has hated life so much that I have tried to opt out of it entirely, and that is because of the PMDD. Yes, it is because of undernourishment, undertreatment, and unregarded PMDD, unbridled rage, and uncontrollable hormonal imbalances, and undealt with trauma. Yes, I know that. Okay. I know that. Okay. Okay. Cool. So the things I do now and the way that I cope is to never hold back so much that it'll ever bottle up again. And to be able to take medicine when I need to and say, yes, I put myself first these days, but barely ever. Okay. But you know what? It is a blessing to be here. It is a blessing to be here. Even though doing this kind of thing, not everybody's going to be into it. Some people do think Ram Dass and Timothy Leary. I don't even agree with half of the shit they did and said. So like some people do see them as these kooks who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, quacks really. But for me to like take on a similar role and to me feel like I'm whole again and feeling fulfilled and spiritual and like this is my path and what I'm meant to do, and even wanting to excel and extend it even more so and take it even further by incorporating it into music and seeing my role as both at the same time and how it could exist and why. But of course, there's so many other people that are already doing things and already exist that like kind of are on the same wavelength but aren't necessarily there to serve that purpose, right? Because, okay, that's fine. Because why doesn't anyone... Well, okay. Staying dedicated, trusting the process, being yourself wholly, fully, truly, no matter who says what doubt. That's beautiful. She came in through the bathroom window. You said the screen got bright, so it just was like kind of a moment. I felt very holy, I guess, glowing, glory. Because I felt that energy in it too, and I just think that there's something about you, and there's something about all of this that does make sense to me over and over and over again. No matter how many times I calculate or switch things up, and I feel all this lightheadedness just because you clicked on. What is that? Number 4? Who are you? I want to know more. I feel this, and I feel like I always have, haven't I? Yeah? Okay, maybe they left. Maybe it pushed someone else out. The energy around is always so strong. Doesn't matter if one connects. Doesn't matter if you silently watch along. Does it infer anything about any of us? Will I ever truly know? Will people ever be wholly honest with me? Or will there always be some suspicion of knowing? Hopefully good things, my friend. I have been in these deep throes of contemplation where things seem to go one way and seem and feel a certain way, and then everything changes day to day. And that is my usual cycle, but it's been so much better lately that it's like, okay, it's not as bad as it used to be, and I can definitely get control of it faster, but still kind of lose control to it and try to surrender to the flow. But it's also like, I don't know because I don't know. As much as I know, it's like you have to understand that me and versus me, my whole team is me. That is over fucking whelming. And sometimes it's not about validation as much as it is about sanity. It's about the outside world. It's about connecting. It's not even about me being like, am I good enough for these things? Duh, no shit. Look at me, listen to me. Like, we've watched it, we've seen it, we know it. The synchronicities, the readings, the fucking psychic energy matrix teachings, books, poetry, all of it. Okay, of course, I know who I am. Clearly, I know who I am. Clearly, I know why I am. And my life is like, okay, so I guess I just missing got stuff wrong about just only me and no one else is so crazy, right? Um, because it's like, how do I explain that to myself? Can someone else explain it then, please? Because I'm struggling to fathom how I could be so on point accurate and see all of these things for everyone and be the reading and all of that and be the oracle. And yet, when it comes to seeing my own, I'm like, what? Okay, so why is it not that then? Or I'm confused, you know what I mean? So it's like, I guess I'll just like shut the fuck up and never do anything ever again, never think, never act. This is why I don't even get into ruts. I get into these phases of like, I literally, I can't be around a bunch of people. I can't really live in like a building with a bunch of folks that don't do well in big cities with big crowds, and I can't really be in confined spaces with a ton of energies because it's like if you are close to me or thinking of me, oh my god, I'm gonna know it. And if it's too many people, it's very hard. And that's why when I am in crowded spaces, I like to be able to move around. And that's why at concerts and stuff, I never sit the fuck still. Never stay in one place. Gotta be, even in public, I'm dancing. Because it's just like, I don't really want to hear it. I don't really need to hear it. It's like, you gotta shake it out. And some people can see that as like, oh, she's crazy. That's insane. Obviously, it's like mental illness. Like, fuck off. I think I've more done well proved myself with the people who actually believe in this stuff, who can see it happen before their very eyes, and who can connect with it and resonate with it. I don't need the approval of everyone. If you want to stay stuck in a mindset where you're so close minded, right, to this seemingly impossible but very, very probable experience of quantum connections, foresight, insight, clairvoyance, all the clairs, right? That's your own prerogative. But people have been telling these stories and saying these things, shamans thousands of years ago, Hindu gods even older than that, Jesus himself, or any kind of psychedelic revolution, 60s. It's all the same vibe, man. It's all the same thing. It's all the same script. So, like, who are you to keep hating? Just because I walk alone and as an individual and because I don't have like this big reputation or because I had to fuck up and fumble the whole way up here and I didn't even get anywhere really except for up. And I'm so goddamn proud of myself. People just assume I have way more than I do because I embrace every step of the way as I level up and ascend, okay? Because I embrace wholly where I'm at, and I'm so proud of myself that I barely know where to go from here because I just am glad to be here now. Sometimes that's actually literally a problem because then it doesn't motivate you to kind of like get anything like money or promotions or like credit or work and stuff where you're just like, ah, yes, the present, it's very beautiful and I can do so much in this moment. Yes, I can help people. Look at this, how we do it. And listening to that is beautiful, isn't it? Good, I'm glad. And me too. I think, it's just this weird thing where it's like I had this inclination that this might be what I'm supposed to be doing, and then it's like I get zero feedback for what I do, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm fucking stupid. Like, I guess none of this is real, none of this is true, none of this is happening. All of you are wrong because I'm wrong about all of the things that I do and what I've said or whatever. So, what? That doesn't even sound right. It's weird, right? It's okay. Sleep tight, everybody. No, but it's been fun on here. It's been real. I don't know if I'm getting over the stream or what. I know I'm going to be busier next month, and I'm pretty busy this week. I probably shouldn't have even streamed tonight, but I needed to get maybe even my own anxiety out or connect with someone who was experiencing anxiety, as they mentioned earlier in the evening. Upon reading this book, my handwritten book, what could you ever say? That was it. I'm glad you're here too, and I'm surprised how late I'm going now. It's Earth time, so vibes. I'm about to rip the bong, be high as fuck too, yo. I don't give a fuck anymore. Or I'll probably give a fuck in a couple days and be like, I gotta change everything about myself and everything that I'm doing and make up for all the things I've done wrong. And then be like, okay, I'm gonna just put that into my creative process and do that for like another 6 days. And then I may or may not get depressed, which might lead to more creativity. And then, bam, I'll be on my ass bleeding out for the days after that. So, cheers. Welcome back, Dom. How's everybody doing tonight? Yeah, so we were reading. It's kind of late, but I've been staying up way later streaming with y'all recently. So I don't even mind that it is so late and that we are up if y'all are down to chit chat a bit. But I've been carrying the weight of most of the conversation this evening, so if y'all are just gonna like silently lurk forever, okay, I'll probably go. But if we got some good conversation flow, then I'm down for whatever. Because it is great, and it is enjoyable. We've got some good stuff going. We got some good things on here tonight, and I'm very happy. I even kind of like that we had the interrupted stream because then the beginning of this one is me reading the book as it's written with the new pages. Yeah, we've talked about this. I'm so bored of that conversation, Dom. I almost feel like you're kind of mocking me at this point, and I don't like it. I mean, we have talked about that to death, man. Whether or not you stick around for those conversations or watch the VODs, Jesus fuck me. I don't even have a question. It's just like we could just like be, whatever, be here now. Should I go back to reading? No, I'm too exhausted. I enjoy y'all's company anyway, though. That's the thing. It's like I'm getting so much out. I've been working a lot. I have more work to do, kind of like tonight because I have such a full day for the next few days. But yeah, I just like being here with you. Tapping my foot, shaking the leg. That's not a usual thing that I do, okay? That's all I'm saying. When I'm standing, I do, and that's mostly a music thing. But when I'm sitting, I do not just shake my legs. So, punch drinker. You're still here or you're back or whatever? Interesting. Who are you? No, I'm just kidding. Am I? I don't know. The energy is always so strange to me. Ah, there it is. Hey, everybody. Glad I didn't leave yet. Summertime, how's it going? How's everybody doing? Good morning. Doo, doo, doo. Okay. That's good, I think. 11111, did you see that? 1 hour, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. I'm doing this so either I have a channeled message coming in or somebody burned their palm. Need to put some aloe on there. Something like that. Kind of like a hot coal, maybe even. You touched hot metal and burned your hand or something like that. Something like that. Anyways, yeah, picked up a hot coal, had to fucking grab something and just like seared into your glove, and the glove burned your skin a little bit, melted into it. So put some aloe on there, maybe vitamin E. You can take vitamin E orally. You can use actual vitamin E oil, or you can like have vitamin E gel. So okay. I guess I didn't. So I'm channeling something. Maybe your hand hurts, you need a little hand massage. Been working a lot, you use your hands in your work, maybe you're drawing. I'm taking a break from drawing right now, so doing this kind of exercise, or, being able to massage these muscles and do both, because then you're working different parts of your hand and keeping both hands in good condition, or at least in the same condition. So you can put your hand flat on a desk, imagine, and then pull back, right? Once again, standing up with your hand on a desk, but I can't show it to you that way, so I'm showing you in the air where you would just pull back on these. So those are all really good exercises, and I like to just kind of flex like this and just stretch out, and roll everything all the time, and kind of just remember that you want to take care of this body and make it healthy and last a long time. And the more that you speak that into yourself, and and actually kind of like, yeah, you tell me, and actually kind of like insert yourself into it. Okay. This is that Nick Cave song. I really like it, but that album is very sad. Nick Cave, The Skeleton Tree, is that what it's called? And there's a track on there that's like, "To see you, baby, I need you." And that album was like, Nick Cave wrote that shortly after his 15-year-old son took some L in the mountains in a canyon and just thought he could fly. No. So yeah, and he was a twin, and it was very sad. So he was pretty. Oh, he was pretty candid about it, because like everything was very public. It was in the canyon. But it was sad. So listening to The Skeleton Tree, you have to be familiar with a certain kind of gloominess or morbidity, to be quite honest. And I think Nick Cave always embodied that, but this is next level depression, because he kind of never experienced something like that. No, did he? Oh. But maybe perhaps his perspective of his son. And it's not to say it is art or the bloom of a tree, but because some people just never do really get it and aren't meant to either. And so if they know that they shouldn't be doing something and they do it anyway, there are consequences to those things, yeah. Oh, that's cool. Was it the birthday party or or what? Isn't that what they were called? Yeah. I loved them in high school. I got really into Nick Cave because I had a birthday party album. Like, I used to buy CDs. I had an iPod that had like a 2 gig memory, and then I got 80 gig, and then it died one day and never had another one, and I miss it all the time. The iPod Classic, 80 gig, 120, fuck it. Oh man, the days. Separate devices that were less complicated and less intrusive, instead of these all touristic, all connected. Kind of got annoying, right? Especially for someone like me. I don't want to be scrying. I don't mean to be spying. It always leaves me crying. I'm not even trying. You just hear it. I hear the chittering and chattering and thinking and dwelling and speaking and saying and doing and all this stuff. But it has to If it doesn't involve me, I wouldn't know. That in itself is exhausting. So once in a while, I pop out and become exhausting because I'm like, wow, is that what that was? You're all fucked. No, come on. It's like, all right, well, can we just make it better? Cool. No? Okay. All right. What do I do in life? Who knows? Who knows? This is chill though. It's fun and I like this, but I do wish I had a little bit more real world kind of time. Um, I feel like I haven't really since before COVID. It's very strange. And I know it's a lot of my own restraints for different reasons, but it's just kind of so funny that I couldn't just become what I was once more as I had changed so much because these things were coinciding. Before that, I was injured, right? And months in, it was like, oh, well, okay, can't do anything even if I could. Kind of cool. Not cool because it was very devastating and the whole world was really fucking kind of scary at the time or whatever, but um, everything's okay, right? No matter how strong and or brave you are, everyone is entitled to their moments of weakness, vulnerability, softness, insecurity, tiresome, fear. You may indulge in the feelings that are opposite to what you are, because that would inherently be your shadow self. If you say, I am very brave, I'm very proud, I'm very stubborn, I'm very on my own, I'm very independent, I'm very this and that, then your shadow, right, which you are hiding and